ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੰਡੇ ਟੂ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਸਵੇਰੇ 7 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 8 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ, ਮੰਡੇ ਟੂ ਥਰਸਡੇ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ 10 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 11 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ, ਅਤੇ ਸੈਟਰਡੇ ਨੂੰ 2 ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਦੁਪਹਿਰ 2 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 3 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਤੇ ਰਾਤ 8 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 9 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਇਹ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਉੱਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਹੋ ਸਕੀਏ, ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਕੀਏ। ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ। ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਰੀਨਾ ਸਿੰਘ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਚੇਅਰਪਰਸਨ ਹਨ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਫੈਡਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਫੀਜੀਅਨ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਬਾਕੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਏ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਲਚਰ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਰਵ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਯੰਗਸਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਹੋਰ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਨੇ, ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਚੀਵਮੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ, ਅਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰੀਨਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਾਲ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ।
Thank you.
Thank you. So Rina ji, we would like to start off with, every community is proud of its culture, and we try to preserve it, we celebrate it. So as far as the Fijian community is concerned, you being the president of many organizations which are Fijian based, what is your observation? How are you trying to, kind of preserve your culture, and how are you trying to involve the youngsters also into it?
So Harpreet, one of the I think for me the insight this year was having the youth involved in the organization that I am part of, Canadian Federation of Fiji Organizations.
Right.
We did a youth talent show, which you sponsored, which was in May.
Right.
And it basically was an event catered to exposing the youth.
Right.
And I think as far as I can see, over the last little while, we have generally opened up the platform for the youth to showcase themselves.
Right.
One of the things also that we did just last weekend was the youth completely got together and organized, and executed a annual barbecue event at Bear Creek Park. And we could see that yes, the Fijian culture was there, however they integrated with the other Canadian mosaic culture. So it was very nice to see. So I think yes, the youth are getting involved.
Right.
I think we just need to be there, to be supportive, to let them know that we're there if they need the help.
Right.
And hopefully, we will do that.
That's
and
wonderful.
they'll be they will be the future leaders.
Great.
So we just have to keep up and keep supporting them.
So that's at the organizational level what you're talking. Let's go to the homes of people now. What do you observe? Because what we find in many cultures is that our children, because they're living in a different culture, at home it's something different, outside it's something different. So at home, are we able to continue that tradition, what we have learned to our children? Like for example, the Fijian language. Do the parents communicate with the children in their own language, or English is the major source of communication, or the food habits and religious practices and other things, going to a temple, or if you're a Christian, going to a church. So how are these things being incorporated?
I think for the most part, I think it's still, at home we talk in Hindi.
Right.
I would say 50-50. We talk in Hindi and English.
Okay.
But I mean, for I think with the older, so the parents and the grandparents,
right,
the kids have, for the kids that I have been involved in, they've spoken Hindi,
right,
and which is the Fiji Hindi that they speak. Food wise, I think we love Fijian food.
Right.
So no doubt about that. It is cooked in homes, and so
right,
people do enjoy it. Whenever we're out in the community attending events, we always generally do cater to Fijian meals,
right,
when we do events. So I think that sort of culture aspect is still there. In terms of religion, the youngsters, I think it's still a very sort of touchy subject for them to come out to temples, and they are not there yet
right.
in terms of going to the temple on a daily basis,
right.
and doing whatever they need to do. However, I think we are breaking the surface
right.
by involving people
right.
in some of the events that are held at temples as such.
Okay.
Not just at temples, but outside of the temples, but basically hosted by the temples.
Right.
So I think we need to do a little bit more of those type of events,
right.
and encourage this youth
right.
to be a part of those. So I think, yes, we are stepping in that direction.
Right.
However, yes, there is a lot of work to be done.
Right. Well, when you talk about youngsters, of course, they have their own challenges. But what about the elders? Like, for example, we find that every community member feels more, good in their own circles only. Are we integrating with other communities? Is the Fijian community coming out of that cocoon, or you still find that people are still engulfed in that only?
I think for what I have seen, I think they are coming out.
Right.
One of the perfect examples was earlier this year when we had a sports match, Rugby Sevens come out to Vancouver.
Okay.
International sports.
Right.
But I have never seen so many Fijians come together at one place to celebrate
right.
the community as Fiji community, because of obviously Fijians were playing.
Right.
So yes, I think we are doing that. I think we're coming out of our shelters into integrating into the Canadian society.
Right.
And I think over the last 5 years, we've done far better
right.
than what we had done before.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So yes.
Let's go for a short break. We'll come back and learn a little bit more about the events which you organize. And also we find that many communities, we were known for our homogeneous setup at homes. Is that still continuing? Parents, grandparents still living together and the generations continuing, or with the passing trend, things are changing? We'll talk about this after this short break.
ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਰੀਨ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਤੇ ਸਥਿਤ ਰੀਅਲ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਸੁਪਰ ਸਟੋਰ ਉਹ ਵਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਖਰੀਦਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੈਰਾਈਟੀ, ਵੈਲਿਊ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵਾਜਿਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ। ਸਾਫ਼ ਸੁਥਰੀਆਂ ਹਾਈ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਤਾਜ਼ੀ ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ, ਫਲ, ਬੇਕਰੀ, ਡੇਅਰੀ, ਰੈਗੂਲਰ ਤੇ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਗਰੋਸਰੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੱਕੋ ਥਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਦੀ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਲੈ ਜਾਓ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604-322-3727।
We cater to all your ethnic needs. Thank you for shopping at Superstore on Marine Drive.
ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਰੀਨਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੀਜੀਅਨ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹਨ। ਅਤੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸਿਰਫ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੱਕ ਹੀ ਕਨਫਾਈਨਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੇ ਤੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਮਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਬਣੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਵੀ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਯੰਗਸਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਕਰਕੇ ਫਰਦਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣ। ਆਓ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So before the break, like you were saying, that initiatives are being taken to involve the youth in religious places also, social organizations also. Let's talk about the homogeneous setup. Like what I believe is that Fijians also, like the Indo-Canadians also, they are a homogeneous setup, parents, grandparents living together and the generations continuing. But there is pressure now with the changing times, things are changing. Is this a challenge in the community?
I believe it is somewhat, but for the most part, I still do see families practicing that, where grandparents, parents, and kids all live together.
Right.
I have my mom living together, and
right.
she's like 75 years old. So I think it is still there.
Right.
However, with the younger generation, they have a different priority and perspective, and,
right.
and they want to be independent.
Right.
And I don't think it's any harm in being independent.
Right.
It certainly teaches you the ropes of how to live your life, on your own
right.
terms. But I think there is always that connection with the parents and the grandparents.
Right.
I often see family functions, birthdays and celebrating grandparents' birthdays and,
right.
and parents' birthdays. So I think that family thing is still there.
Right.
we hope it continues.
Of course, everybody wants those traditions to continue. Let's talk a little bit about your ceremonies and such. For example, marriages. Are these lavish affairs which continue for days, or again they are just confined to the 1 or 2 days, and just is it the tradition which is continuing, or the trends which we finding in other communities are also falling in here?
I think the tradition is there for sure.
Right.
We do the 3 days of the Mendi and all that. The tradition is for sure there.
Right.
Lavish, I think, has come into play as well.
Okay.
So it's a combination of both.
Right.
But tradition, for sure, it's, I think, ingrown.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that.
Great.
And it is, well, supposedly a week-long affair for us.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about now the events which you're organizing. Like over the years, as you say, you're growing every year, something more is being added, and it's not just confined to the Fijian community, but other communities are also being involved. For example, you're being here, and before that the talent show which you organize. So the idea is to reach out to other communities also, so that we can understand each other and live in a better society where we live in this mosaic. So what are the events which you're organizing in the next few months?
So in the next few months, a couple of events that we're organizing is the Joint Teams Forever charity fundraising, which will be held on September 10th.
Right.
And what it is Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation, CIBC Run for Cure, which actually happens on October 2nd, the actual run and walk. But what Sandhya Prasad, as you know, has spearheaded this for the last 6-7 years.
Right.
And so this year what she wanted to do was do a little bit of a bigger platform.
Right.
And came up with the idea of, let's have an evening of friends and families together.
Right.
We come out, we have a good time, and we support for a great cause. So it's sort of like an event of information sharing. There'll be vendors, etc. But it's held at Kanna Banquet Hall in Surrey.
Right.
And we hope to raise lots of funds so that we, on October the 2nd, could go out and do our best and have a good chunk of change to present to the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Right.
I think it's a good cause. For me personally, it has hit hard this year. One of my best friends was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I have seen the challenges for that person, for the family, for the friends. So that is the reason why I got on board.
Okay.
And so that is the one event that I'm a part of. The second event is an event that is again done by one of the Fijian community organizers, and it is called See You at the Movies.
Okay.
That's held on September the 17th at Portuguese Hall.
Right.
And that one is about a fellow who was 27 years old and passed away. His name is Navlesh Sipa Mudliar.
Okay.
And he used to go to Vancouver Film School. He wanted to be a director, be involved in the movie industry, and that's why he went there.
Okay.
So once he passed away, what his family and friends are doing is just making sure that his passion survives.
Continues,
right?
Okay.
So in conjunction with the Vancouver Film School, they are doing this fundraiser event where it's very extraordinary event. You will go in and it'll be sort of like a movie theater production.
Right.
And then at the end you'll have a dinner dance family event. But the proceeds, 100% proceeds will go to the Vancouver Film School.
Right.
And Vancouver Film School will match the amount.
Okay.
And so it goes to that foundation.
Right.
And then kids, especially of South Asian, I think, are able to apply and go through school if they are having financial difficulties. So there'll be an eligibility criteria process.
Right.
So that's one event that's coming up September 17th. And I hope that people do come out and support, because I think what a great cause.
Absolutely.
for youth,
Absolutely.
right?
You know, there are so many events, as you said, which are happening, and the more we integrate with each other, the more we'll know each other, and of course, lots of myths which we have about each other will dissipate, and we'll become better citizens, and which will be beneficial for Canada. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you so much, Harpreet.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੀਨਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟੀਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਕਰੀਏ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੇਬਰਸ ਤੋਂ, ਪੜੋਸੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਈਏ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝ ਵਧਾਈਏ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਵਧਾ ਸਕੀਏ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਵੀ ਆ ਸਕੀਏ।